Thank you for coming out and joining us. Normally Lonnie would have started. He is the chair of our committee, and Lonnie is ill down at the hotel. He tried to make it up a couple hours ago and had to turn around and go back home.
He should keep his germs down there.
Yeah, exactly. Not like the rest of us that bring them in. So thank you for taking the time to join us this evening to meet the candidates running to fill the upcoming vacancies on the board of directors for the Waikoloa Village Association. One housekeeping member for members of the audience. If you have not signed in, please sign in. And there's some sign-in sheets up at the reception area. And as this forum is to provide an opportunity for the membership to get to know the candidate better, questions to the candidate are encouraged to be asked by everyone in attendance. So if you have a question, please complete that form that we have up by the front where you signed in. And you can do those on an individual basis or general, which we'll ask to both candidates. At this time, I'd like to introduce the members of this year's nomination committee, which I already started with Lonnie Cole and myself, the vice chair of the committee, and also on the board of directors as serving as a secretary. Lonnie, if he had been here, he would have told you that he's also been pushed into the treasurer position from the director position. And members of the association on the committee this year are Hans Haydorn, who will also serve as our timekeeper this evening. And he'll be raising those yellow and red cards to indicate what I'll do a little bit more about that later on. Betty Green, who coordinated the entire envelope stuffing effort. And hopefully everybody's got their envelopes. I got mine. And Kathy Keene, both are extremely active in the community, by the way. And while not a member of the committee, I'd like to recognize Marjorie Moss, who chaired the committee for a number of years and now serves as an advisor to the committee. Has been very helpful with getting us going the right way and helping us with the timeline to make sure we're doing everything correct. Finally, we also have Kathy Frazier, you know, from our administrative office, and Roger here, both helping out this year. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Roger, and he's going to speak to you for a little bit.
Hello and good evening, everybody. It's great to see all of you here this evening. It should prove to be a very informative meeting for all of you, and you can get to know both Amy and Jerry better. One of the things later on that we're going to be covering are two items that the membership will be voting on this year. One item is on the mail-in ballot, so you can, and that is on the resolution to allow the WVA to go after and secure funds for anybody who's delinquent in dues, and go after, if they are renting the house, to either go after the renter or the rental agent. The Planned Community Association 421J allows us to do that. However, that needs to be approved by the general membership before the association can go ahead and do that. So that will just afford us another opportunity to try and collect on our back dues that are delinquent. The second item, and some of you are confused on that, and that is the land swap issue. That is not a mail-in ballot for our documents. That has to be voted on at the annual meeting. So that's why you do not receive a ballot in your mail with you. That will be voted on by everybody who attends the meeting. Okay?
Or by proxy.
By the proxy holder, yes. We did send out a notice with the proxy that you can advise your proxy holder how you want to vote. So you're welcome to tick that if you'd like, or you can have your proxy holder, if you're not going to be there, vote as he or she chooses. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Since we don't have teleprompters, hopefully we'll never spend money on those. I'm going to be reading from the script for part of this, and of course I'll be asking those questions from this area. And at this time, I'd like to introduce you to the candidates running for the upcoming vacancies on the board of directors. Our first candidate is Jerry Jameson, and our second candidate is Amy Swan. Welcome, Jerry and Amy, and thank you for being here tonight. As noted earlier, Hans will be our timekeeper this evening. He has 2 cards in his possession. The yellow card, when held up, will signal that you have 30 seconds before your time is up, and you should begin to finalize your statements. The red card, when held up, will signal that you're out of time. Zip it. Or finish it up real close. Candidates will have 3 minutes for each answer. At this time, I'd like to begin to have each candidate provide their opening statements. Candidates, please stand by while doing so, and I'd like to start with Amy.
Oh, I didn't expect that because I was the second candidate. Opening statement. I'm here because I just feel like it's after 10 years of living in the community, attending meetings, being on committees, I thought I should step up. It's my interest to look at the community as a community. I think of us as needing to work together. I would like to see a lot more involvement by people here. I know I'm not the smartest person in the room. There are a lot of people here that know a lot of stuff and should be involved more if they felt welcome to do so. And I think that would just make us a better community if we could get that to happen. So that's what I'm about. I've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. I like to listen twice as much as I like to talk. So that's where I'm coming from on this. And I appreciate being here. And shout out to everybody who signed my petition. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Amy. And now, Jerry, would you like to please provide your opening comment?
Okay. Jerry Jameson. I've been, this is the second time I've been an owner in the village. Earlier, back in the mid to late 80s, I was an owner, and I also operated the restaurant, which was known as Waikoloa Village Restaurant at the time. I raised in the islands, grew up on Maui, Big Island, as well as Kauai, every island except Oahu. Been in the hospitality industry most of my career, except for my, every food and beverage director thinks what I really want to do is own a restaurant. Desert Storm took care of the restaurant part of it, but I enjoyed those 4 years while I was here. I've been back in the condominium management for the last 15 years, and sat in Roger's seat in managing the actual association. So, I've known the village. I just bought about 2 years ago, again up in Illinois days, and seen the difference in the village, and I'm very pleased with the growth of it, and I'm pleased with what I see happening. And so I thought, well, a year and a half of retirement and getting the honey-do list out of the way, and now I've got a little bit more time. I know Roger from years gone by, and I've been to a few of the board meetings and had not seen the kind of turnout that we have here tonight, which I think is fantastic, and I think that's something that as board directors, we need to listen to the people. That's who we work for. So, where's my yellow card?
Not yet.
Can't stretch it three. But I'm pleased to be here and very happy with the direction the association's going, and would like to be more of a part of it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jerry. Now we'll move on to the next portion of the evening. But I'd like to remind everybody if you have questions, to turn those over to Betty or to Roger. Betty's been walking around a little bit. We just have a couple here. If you have any questions that you'd like to have addressed to both candidates or either one, please turn those over to Betty or Roger. So this next portion of the evening includes questions that were pre-selected and sent to each of the candidates. There were 6 questions, and the nomination and election committee determined to be relevant questions which we wanted the candidates to respond to. The candidates had the opportunity to do so, and they submitted their answers to those questions, which you all have in your packets. Their written responses have also been posted to the website for members to review. We're going to take the opportunity to ask a few of the questions from those 6 initially and let them respond live to those questions, after which we will be taking questions that we've received from all of you. Each candidate will again have 3 minutes to respond to each of the questions, and with that we'd like to begin the predetermined questions. Note that you need not stand. You can stay sitting in that seat and feel comfortable, but please speak into the microphone. Check to see if your microphone is working. And the yellow card will be displayed at 2.5 minutes and a red card at 3-minute mark. The first question is directed to Jerry. Jerry, what do you feel is the role of the board of directors?
Well, the board of directors is really tasked with managing the association on behalf of the owners. And you're reading from the script, I put some thought into that as well. Actually, the board of directors, we set policies, establish and maintain standards, procedures, programs that come forth in the association, as well as budgeting. We were tasked with maintaining the common areas of the association and thus improving or maintaining the value of the association as a whole.
Use the microphone.
Okay.
Good idea.
And one of the basic things is everything you do is for the benefit of the entire company, community as a whole, and not a specific, you've got to avoid a conflict of interest. Let's see, this association has been very fortunate. For as long as I can remember, they've always had a professional management leader, in this case Roger, and back down the road there's been one after another to lead the team, and it's the board of directors' responsibility to give Roger the tools he needs to manage the association on behalf of the owners and support them in that, give him guidance, and that's what I think that I'm able to do. My background is, again, association management. So.
No, not yet.
And I'm not a public speaker.
All right. Well, thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
And Amy, what do you feel is the role of a board of directors?
Is this working now?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm very well aware that we all bought expensive homes here. It's a lot of money. It's a big investment. We have a lot invested here, not just in our homes, but we're living here. Most of us that are in this room, we do live here. It's not just an investment. It's a place to live. So just like in your own home, you want to keep that home maintained. You want to improve it in a way that you can afford. You'd like it to add to your enjoyment of your life, because it's your home. And now together we own things that are bigger than what any of us could afford. I can't afford a golf course. Anybody else could afford a golf course on yourself? No. A swimming pool, maybe some of you, and invite me over. But we can't afford these things ourselves. We own them together. And because of that, we have to maintain them, we have to watch over them, we have to make sure that they are providing us with enjoyment as a whole. So as a board, we need to watch over those investments, make sure that we're enjoying our time in the community and spending our money for those things that benefit the most of us, because we're in this together, financially and for our lives. I mean, this is where we live. And it should be a place that uplifts us. It should be a place that we are excited to drive into when we come to Waikoloa Village through the only road we have to come into it. And to go, wow, Waikoloa Village, I really love being here, and this is why. So as a member of the board, this is what I would feel be important to do. It requires us to make decisions about the money that we all put together. It's all of our money. It's not one person's money. It's not the board's money. It's no particular person's money. So we need to look over it like we care about what everybody thinks, because it's all of our money together. So to be a good steward of that. And consider where do we spend it so that we all benefit the most. And watch over that. That's what I'm about. I'm not the smartest person in the room, as I said before. I need to remind you of that because I'm the one with the microphone, which usually makes you think you're, the one with the answers and the plan. But I'm just willing to do this work.
Thank you, Amy. I'll give you a second to take a drink because the next question's for you.
Okay.
All right. Amy, please describe your past and current contributions, volunteer efforts to promote a sense of community within Waikoloa Village.
I haven't been here as long as Jerry. I've been here close to 10 years. Isn't that about right? We bought them at the same time. Close to 10 years, but I've lived here continuously. I've been interested in the board. I've come to meetings. I've tried to be involved at meetings. I found myself on a land use committee, which was really a trip. If you haven't been on a committee, please volunteer. It is just a real trip, so I recommend it to you. And you get an idea of what's happening with the community by doing that. By day, I don't bake cookies even though I brought them. I work for the Department of Education, so I've spent a lot of time with our young people. I have a daughter who's home by herself, hopefully behaving.